everybody. Welcome to the iProv vlog, where we talk about how to help business leaders grow their business. My name is Jordan Smith, VP of Sales and Marketing, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Patrick Laughlin, COO of iProv. What's up, Pat?
What's up, Joe? How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm excited about our topic today. We talk a lot about this internally, but empowering your employees to empower your brand.
If you want to have a big brand, you better get ready to empower your people to make it a big brand. Because there are very few personalities that can do that on their own. I mean, just look at sort of the number of really influential people that build big brands. It's the Gary V's of the world, and in truth, he's empowered his people to help him do that. If you look at what he's done, he's not running, he's running VaynerMedia, but he's not the one writing social posts for clients, right? He's empowered them in order to be able to be the voice of his brand. And I think that that's a sort of good example of how empowering your people either to get the work done so that you can focus on that bigger thing that is building the brand, which ultimately feeds them and the growth of your business, or looking at ways that you can empower your people to be the brand, like Zappos, right? And sort of their famous customer service. I can't even remember the CEO's name of Zappos, but we all know the stories of Zappos customer service. They'll even do things like, or in the old days, they would even do things like, buy a pizza for somebody if that's what they called asking about. So none of that happens without empowering your people.
Well, it's super important. And I think we've seen this shift, and all the leaders out there that are watching this or listening to this, I think you've seen that too with the kind of, it seems like there's been more of a groundswell in the past decade or so about company culture and build, but even going a step further, so many businesses are just solely focused on relationships with their customers. You need to be more concerned with what the relationship is with your employees. Every business leader that's got an established organization that we talk to, what do they want? They want less time in the business. And the only way to do that is if you work on an empowerment strategy for your people. And that's more than just putting a ping pong table in the break room, right? That's empowering them to be able to make decisions without you there. It's investing a lot of time in training and talking to them about what's important and what's urgent and the difference between the two. Sharing your vision with those individuals so that they know what decisions to make without you and which ones they need to bring you into. This is how you build force multipliers for your organization.
Well, when we talk about force multipliers, let's talk about things like social networks. We're in the business of social media marketing for most of our clients. And, the average sort of small business has somewhere between, let's say, 500 and 1,000 followers, which is not a small amount. But every single 20-something on our staff has at least 1,000 fans or friends on Facebook. They usually have a couple hundred followers on Twitter. Some of them have multiple thousands on Instagram. And so when you talk about force multipliers for your brand, if your brand can only attract 1,000 people, but one employee can attract somewhere between 1,000 and 10,000, who's more powerful?
Yeah.
It is not your brand's page, it is that employee. And so empowering them to tell your brand story in some sort of personal and meaningful way is huge, and gets you in front of the audiences that you want to be in front of.
That's a great point. For a lot of the solopreneurs out there, you're not quite to this point yet, but for anybody that has, any number of employees, that as time goes on, they are the brand, right? You might be the founder and the CEO, but I hate to tell you guys this for y'all listening, you are not the brand to your customers. It's those individuals that they deal with on a day-to-day or week-to-week, no matter if you've got a transactional business or a monthly reoccurring one. You are slowly, as you grow the organization, you are less and less of the public brand for your organization.
Yeah, and I think that you can't understate this. You have to let go and let others tell your story in the modern online world that we live in order to truly have meaningful growth for your business. And if you can't let go, you won't grow. So.
And letting go and empowerment, a lot of that means being okay with having them do things the way that you want, but differently sometimes, right? Pat, you say it all the time that, you know, your 100%, 80% of that would do for most people. And you have to be okay with allowing your team to do it 80% of the way that you would do it. You also have to let them fail, right? We talked about this on a previous episode, link in the description, go check it out. But you got to let them wobble a little bit, right? You know, most people out there listening to this that are in the position you have kids, right? You don't run and stop them every time they're about to fall off their bike. You let them fall off the bike so they know how to get back up and hit those pedals again. And you got to do the same thing with your employees. You have to be okay with them failing and not want to run in and rescue them every single time.
Yeah, and I can't take credit for your 100% is their 80%. I stole that from Gary Vee. Mm-hmm. The only addition I'll make is to the customer, their 80% is 110%. And that's what you're missing in the equation is, yeah, your 100% is sort of A, right? And their 80%, the thing that you're looking at is like, man, that's just not nearly as good as I could or would do it. But the truth is, the customer looks at that and goes, this is so much better than I ever expected, that you quickly get into this mindset of, okay, I am missing the real truth, that their sort of attempt at being as good as as doing something as good as you could do is so much better than what the customer expected, that you're better off letting them take that ownership, empowering them to do their best work, because it is ultimately achieving the goal of exceeding your customers' expectations and giving you time to do more important, more high leverage, more high dollar things as a business.
Absolutely. You are not going to get the outcomes that you want as an organization if you don't have an active strategy to challenge and empower everybody in the organization.
Yeah. And that all starts with building a relationship. Every leader I know dreads sort of the one-on-one. They go, oh, this feels like such a waste of time. And that's a terrible way to look at it, because that time is intentional time to build a relationship. And without, that intentional effort to build a relationship with employees, you're never going to have the kind of goodwill that can build a brand in a meaningful way.
No, absolutely. I couldn't say that a better way. The best way to get you out of every conversation is to get them in more of them and empower them to have more of those things without you. So, Gary Vee, we tagged you, so we just shouted you out. Share, like, comment. Everybody else, if you've got tips or tricks or thoughts on this, we'd love to hear your thoughts on different ways that you empower your folks within the organization to just to get the outcomes that you want. So we'd love to hear from you. Comment, like, subscribe, especially if we earned it. Pat, as always, I appreciate it. Peace, peeps.